How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at the Steam sales and what you should pick up as far as indie titles go. I know a lot of people have been asking me to do indie titles in the past. I normally just stick with the mainstream games, but today we're going to look at some indie games. I'm going to tell you which ones are my favourite, which ones I recommend, and which ones we should probably go into more detail with, and just have a look at some indie titles. I mean, there's a shit ton of indie titles on Steam, so might as well delve into them, have a look, and see what we come out with. Oh yeah, I hope the audio quality is a tiny bit better. I picked up some mics, just little clip-on mics, so hopefully that makes it a tiny bit better. I will eventually invest in a decent microphone. So as usual, my kind of video style is just like a chill chat. Have me on whilst you're doing something in the background, or just watch the gameplay, because I'm going to show clips of gameplay, plus indie titles that I really recommend, some that I haven't really played but I've heard good things about from my friends, and just some general indie games that that are worth picking up, because the Steam sales are pretty good this year. I've noticed quite a lot of indie titles that are on sale for really good prices. My prices will be in Great British pounds. I know that a lot of you guys, 30% of you guys who watch me are American, according to my analytics. So we appreciate it. I know I had a funny comment last video that some guy couldn't understand what I was saying. I was like, I kind of speak quite clearly for an English person. I've spoke to many English people with a way deeper accent than me. So hopefully most of you can understand what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure you can. But yeah, so straight off the bat, I don't know if I've spoken about this one before, but I 100% recommend you guys pick up Hades. So it's like an isometric view, awesome artwork. So he plays Hades' son, and he's trying to escape the underworld. And you do this via repeatedly playing through the same game over and over again. Very roguelike, but every time you progress, you unlock new weapons. You also have badass boss fights, and the soundtrack is godly. It's seriously awesome. It's made by Supergiant Games, which I'll feature quite a few times in this video because, I don't know, just some of their games are just so cool and unique. So Hades, a roguelike set in the Greek world, underworld, and you meet different Greek gods throughout, and you speak to Greek gods, different people within Greek mythology. I think it's really awesome, and you learn a lot of backstory via this game. I learned a lot of Greek mythology through God of War originally, but playing this game, Hades, is like just the cherry on the top for Greek mythology. It's awesome. Along with the soundtrack and the art style, 100% recommend it. Gets really hard, and obviously because you have to do it all in one run, you have to very strategically build your character, um, using the best power-ups, just mix and match to see what will get you towards the end game. So that's Hades. It's on sale now for £9, 74p. So equivalent, throwing a spitball in, probably like $13 or around that ballpark. So that's Hades. Next game I want to talk about is, it's not relatively cheap, but it's an awesome indie title which I started playing recently, called Tunic. So without going into too much detail, because I haven't actually finished it myself yet, but you play as a small fox. Basically, it's a very drop you in the middle of the story, doesn't really give you any information. Start the game, zero weapons, zero information on the world, and you're basically forced to go out there, find weapons, find everything to do with the story. And not only that, but the killer, the crux, is that the language in the game isn't English. So you can't actually understand any of the signposts or anything like that. So you have to then pick up pieces of this game, like a manual. It's like an in-game retro manual. So I really like the way it's done, because every time you pick up one of these pieces of the retro manual, you can kind of decipher the language, and then it helps you understand and realize what the signs are actually saying. Explore and you will be rewarded kind of game. You pick up like a sword throughout the game, but you can also not even find that sword. It's one of them kind of games, very old school Zelda-like. But yeah, Tunic, really charming art style, cute little graphics. He plays a little fox, so if that sounds cool, check that out. A little bit on the pricier side. That one is going to be pushing like £20 on sale because it's relatively new. But yeah, guys, Tunic, 100% recommend it. It is very awesome. This one, I haven't actually finished myself, but my good friend has banged on about this one. He's told me all about it, minus the story details, because I really don't like spoilers. But yeah, he's told me all about it. It's called Hollow Knight, Metroidvania style. It's not really roguelike because you're not restarting the same level again. It's more Metroidvania, so you're on like a 2D map, And in order to get to certain areas, you have to know abilities. And in order to get abilities, you have to do certain things. So if, say, you try and get to this area, but you can't get there, so then you're going to have to try and go over to this side of the map. And then in order to get to that power up, you then remember that you can do this side of the map. It's one of them kind of games, you know what I'm talking about, like Metroid, literally. If you played Metroid or any kind of game like that, like Ori Will of the Wisps is another one as well. But this one's got a very, very unique story. It's made by Team Cherry, and these guys are in the process of making a sequel to this. And I love the lore in it because it's very insect based. All the boss fights, you're fighting against like big dung beetles. Like, it's very like a pupil state kind of like artwork. I don't know if that even makes any sense, but like, you've got a lot of like bugs, and it's really gross sometimes. Like, you're in a dark area, like centipedes coming out. But he plays like Hollow Knight. I actually did 3D print a model of Hollow Knight. You can't see him, he's on my bookshelf. But... so I don't know if you guys can see it here, but did a little 3D print of Hollow Knight. I actually painted him as well. He's quite dusty, to be fair. I haven't really dusted him in a while, but it's a free print. So his like head comes off, and then it all fits together. A little sword needle at the back. But yeah, I think it's really awesome, and I just really love the design of the character. And yeah, I haven't finished. Like I said, I haven't finished it. It gets extremely difficult towards the end, depending on how much you've built up your abilities and you've found all the abilities and stuff. It's definitely worth exploring the whole world before you try and take on some of the later game stuff. And I know a lot of bosses will probably trip you up in that aspect. But yeah, that's Hollow Knight. So another indie game which is overwhelmingly positive reviews that you might not have heard of is Neon White. I actually played this one for about half an hour, so I haven't got too much experience in it, so I'm only going to brush over it. But you're literally trying to think of what a game it's similar to. It's very parkour, free-running style, first-person shooter, but you pick up these abilities on the way around. They've got like playing cards, so it's a mix between like a card game and an FPS. Not so much card game where you're actually playing cards, but you're picking up cards which give you abilities. So these cards will give you like different weapons, different guns, and then you have to try and beat the level as quick as possible. And you're playing as a demon. It's got a very cool art style. Works great on the Steam Deck as well. And yeah, it's just really satisfying, pick up and play kind of game. Really fun game. So yeah, or Neon White. Brush over this one quickly because I've spoken about this one quite a few times, but Celeste is on sale. Extremely worth the money. It's on sale for £3.74. That's around $5, $6. Really good game. You're playing as a girl who's struggling with mental health. She's trying to climb up a mountain, which she's going through a lot of things. It's quite relatable in some aspects, and it does it in like kind of like a cutesy way. Like, you're doing boss fights halfway up the mountain. There's a lot of lovable characters in the game, and interesting characters too, and that all impact her. Madeline, you play as Madeline, not Celeste. I've already made that mistake once, but they all impact her in certain ways and enable her to reach the top of the mountain eventually. So, I mean, that's the overall goal. Another game I really love, indie title that I played on my Switch. I think it was like at least first thing last year when it came out, or a couple of years ago maybe now, but Katana Zero. Have spoken about this one before in a video, so I'll brush over this one quickly. It's only £6.83, but it's a very, very cool cyberpunk style samurai 2D game. Pixel graphics, it's got an amazing cyberpunk soundtrack. It isn't a Metroidvania, so you don't have to worry about going over to the same places all the time. It's not a roguelike, so you don't have to worry about restarting the same level over and over again. But the cool thing about this is it kind of reminds me of Hotline Miami, and it is published by Developer Digital, so same studio that published it, different developer though. And basically, what the aim of the game is to get from point A to point B without being shot. And you play as a samurai. You're set, like I say, it's set in like a cyberpunk world, but the cool aspect of this is that you can actually rewind the level if you die. So what happens if you die, you rewind the level, you have to do the whole little scene again. It shows you it back in like fast forward, and it's extremely satisfying. You can get some really cool looking kills in the game. You know, it's like I say, really cool artwork with the pixel artwork. Really recommend it. That's Katana Zero. Has a good story as well from what I can remember, so check that one out. Quick one, Inside, really cool indie title. If you've ever played Limbo from the same studio, it's a very cool puzzle game. It's kind of one of them indie games which is like one track, so you're continuously moving across one line, but that sounds really boring. It's kind of like a walking sim, but walking sims aren't boring. It has a lot of puzzle elements in it, and it has a lot of hostile enemies in it that you need to avoid, or they chase you. You have to get from point A to point B without being caught or captured. But it's set in this like dystopian future where people are being controlled by like these machines on their heads, and you play as a child and you're trying to escape from this factory, where they're trying to like brainwash him. Awesome game, and this is an absolute bargain. So it's on sale for £1.49, equates to like $4, $3. 100% recommend it. It'll give you a good 3 hours, 4 hours of gameplay with a very weird and kind of very dark story, to be honest. If you look into it deeply, it's pretty dark, so definitely check Inside out. It's really good. Quick one would be Vampire Survivors. So Vampire Survivors is all the rage at the minute. Basically 2D plane. It's very like SNES era, a Genesis era kind of graphics, like 32-bit, 16-bit kind of stuff. But the aim of the game is to build up an extremely strong vampire hunter. And what you do is you'd never shoot the enemies, but as the enemies are coming towards you, you automatically fire. And the aim of the game is to pick up weapons and power-ups in order to beat these vampires. And obviously, as time goes on, there's tons and tons of vampires coming at you. And if you've made the right build, you'll be able to beat them and progress. It's really satisfying. That doesn't really explain it that well, but I'm sure the gameplay is making sense on screen. That's £3.19 at the minute. It doesn't have too much of a discount, but the game is already cheap anyway. So I'd recommend just picking that up anyway. It's like £3.99. So I'll do a couple more indie titles for you guys, and then I'll do another video where I'm focusing more on AAA titles. Because I know there's quite a few AAA titles which are on sale, amazing prices on these. Say Binding of Isaac, it's like a roguelike. You're stuck in, your mum has trapped you in a basement, and it's all about you trying to get to the top of the basement and get out, but it's a roguelike, so there's like rooms that you're stuck in, and you build power-ups by collecting different pop-ups abilities and stuff, and you can build your Isaac character, which is like this young child, and he's trying to escape and find his mum again. But she's quite evil, so then it plays into this dark kind of like weird storyline where it has like religion involved and stuff like that. The mum's very like Christian, so Isaac is trying to escape this basement, going through different rooms, picking up power-ups, and then fighting bosses. This is like the OG roguelike. I think this came out quite a long time ago now. So this game came out in like 2014, so it's quite old, but really satisfying to play, especially when you're starting building Isaac into like an absolute machine. You can just obliterate things in like a few moves. It's got a load of new characters in it now, so it had like quite a lot of expansions too. So I definitely recommend you picking up the Rebirth bundle or the Complete bundle even. Quite pricey, but this is thousands of hours of gameplay if you're into this roguelike kind of stuff. 100% would recommend it. So it's actually £18 for everything, the Complete bundle, and that includes like 2 expansions, so tons of gameplay. If what you're seeing now on screen looks like something you might enjoy, definitely have a look at it. It's definitely worth the money. Really good roguelike. It's a classic, so if you've never heard of it before, definitely would recommend it. And I think I'm going to end the video on one more. And this is another one my girlfriend was playing recently, and I kind of watched her play it. Very chill. If you're into just like chilling out, you know, you've had a stressful day and you want to just calm down, play some games on the Steam Deck, you know, sit on your sofa or whatever you want to do. It's called Unpacking, and basically what you're doing is unpacking boxes. It's set in like a 2D kind of room. There's multiple different houses that you have to unpack. Without spoiling the story, you're kind of going through this journey of this woman who's gone through a lot of stuff in her life. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's something to do with like the developer's wife or even the developer herself or something along them lines. It's following her story, and it has a lot of just different houses that she goes through over time, and it's your job to unpack all these boxes and put all these items in the correct places. But it's got a really cute little art style. It's like 2.5D, and all these rooms and different houses have a lot of charm and personality to them, so it's really nice just to unpack her life and kind of like understand what's happened to her over time. It's a very chill game. Some might say it's quite boring over time, you're doing the same thing, but if you just want to pick it up and play it for a few hours at a time, it's really fun. And it's, I don't know, like I say, just takes your mind off things if you just want to have like a game that is really simple but cute at the same time. So yeah, and that's it, guys, for my selection of indie games so far. If I find any more, I'll make another list, and I'll be sure to make another video. If you guys have any indie game suggestions, let me know in the comments. And yeah, like I say, next video will be like a AAA one again before the sale ends. I think the sale ends on like the 5th of January, so be sure to check that one out when you can. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching. And I think we just hit 6K subs. So awesome. Thanks for watching. And I'll speak to you guys soon. Muchly appreciate the 6K subs, by the way. Yeah, it's just mad how all you guys just seem to enjoy my Steam Deck stuff. So, you know, keep watching and keep liking if you enjoy the stuff, and I'll keep making it when I can. So appreciate it, and I'll speak to you soon.